Hey guys, welcome back to Community Starcraft 2. This is game 2 of RET versus WhiteRa, and of course I'm your host Sidewinder bringing you these games. And WhiteRa is spawning up here at the top side of the Shattered Temple. On close by air positions it's going to be RET, our red Zerg. So first game, RET just completely manhandled WhiteRa with a Mutalisk harassment that just never ended and killed way too much stuff, and WhiteRa actually just lost his whole army to Mutas. So yeah, for those of you that are complaining a lot about Mutas being too powerful, that was definitely a good game to throw into your arsenal and keep going with that argument. WhiteRa throwing his pylon down in a weird place here, as he will be forge expanding no doubt, and this actually looks like an old beta style expand. It just takes a ton of buildings to close all this off, but it also could be a build customized to fight RET, because RET is definitely one of those players that will not attack you for the longest time for a majority of the games. Let me go ahead and pull up the production tab, as I seem to forget a lot. So yeah, this could be actually just customized to how RET is typically playing. So if you're seeing this build out of WhiteRa, especially this building positioning, don't rip it off just because a pro player is doing it, because on the ladder you're just going to get killed so many times because you can't close your wall up in time from even just a few Zerglings coming in there and bugging you. RET is going to go 14 pool once again, just like he did last game, so he's not going to do anything crazy like hatch first. WhiteRa knows this, and you can actually Nexus first against this, but no, he's just going to go for a 15 forge, just really late. You can continue to chrono out probes here, as he's going to do, and it looks like he wants to go for this and then just take a Nexus on 17, but we'll see what's going to actually happen. If this drone can get down there in time, and he will, away from this probe, he'll get his hatchery up with no contention, which is exactly what you want out of Zerg. So WhiteRa really, he's not impressing me in these first two games. Look at WhiteRa actually just going to cannon off the wall, and yeah, you missed your placement there. I don't think WhiteRa can actually put this wall down, because for those of you that don't know, tournament maps usually have a neutral supply depot, and on this map in particular there's something weird about the bottom of this ramp here where you can't place buildings right there. So this wall is not going to get up. WhiteRa almost walling that off. Down goes the probe. This wall is a complete waste. So WhiteRa's got to be way behind right now. He put down 300 minerals worth in pylons. He's not even going to get a cancel on the hatch. RET is just completely bypassing this, knowing that this has failed. And he can see the wall of, or rather the wall attempt here of WhiteRa is quite poor. He'll be able to just walk right past that cannon and right into the main. The cannon will actually kill a few Zerglings if it gets up in time, but this is going to be really close. WhiteRa can throw down a pylon, and he can't get the second one down. He's just trying to block off the best he possibly can. One thing is for sure, WhiteRa's Nexus is not going down anytime soon. So yeah, WhiteRa is in really bad shape here. To be totally honest, he's just not playing very well in these two games. So RET really taking advantage of that. He's at 50 supplies. We can see of all these extra pylons here, it's completely wasted. And his Nexus is going to take forever to get done. He's either going to have to put Zealots out to try and go pressure RET, or clear out these Zerglings, one or the other, so he can take his Nexus, but these Zerglings are just going to walk right into the main with no losses and do a lot of probe damage. Having to micro against this with your probes is such a pain in the butt. But nice surround there. He actually does trap one, so that's a good start for this. Zerglings are still poking around here. Another surround attempt is tried, but doesn't actually do anything. Two Zealots are on their way, and it looks like they're just rallied to the front of RET's base, so WhiteRa is having his pylons poked down, and these two Zealots are going to have to do stuff they're just not programmed to do, and kill a lot of drones and whatnot to get into this game. So you can see he's already falling behind economically. He wants to make RET make Zerglings for the time being, and I don't know if RET actually sniffed that out. There's 8 Zerglings on the way as these Zealots are now running up here. There's now 10 and 2 more Zerglings and a Queen. They'll be able to clean these Zealots up easily. So WhiteRa's going to have some amazing positioning on these in order to get really any work done. But all these Zerglings do come out here as RET is ready to pressure. WhiteRa is now supply capped, so the effects of this are still being well displayed. As we can see, these Zealots are being microed to the best of their ability. Stutter stepping here is actually the best circumstances you can do, considering you want to time out your attacks to where you're only taking damage when you're actually attacking. So WhiteRa's killing a lot more than he should with these Zealots, but yeah, RET just easily cleans that up. This wall is still not tight though, and if more Zerglings run in here, there's nothing to stop them from poking at this Nexus. So here come the Zerglings once again. WhiteRa needs to wall off, and it looks like Rhett's just going to stand there, knowing that the wall off is very likely imminent. This probe just walks right past the Zerglings and is going to go in there and try to scout. At least I would think so. He's just going to stop by the watchtower really quickly and see that Overlord, of course. But look at this. The supply difference is already almost 20. And we're only about 7.5 minutes into this game, so Rhett just completely denying WhiteRa at every turn. This just does not look like the typical WhiteRa that we're used to. But yeah, Rhett definitely having a really good time against him so far. And again, WhiteRa doing this build of not transferring probes out of his main. And I didn't get a chance to really explain that in the last game, but any player that knows the distribution of workers per base knows that it's best to transfer out to start mining off the fresh mineral patches faster than it is to mine out ones that are already low. So you can see this one's on like 755, whereas the ones at his expansion are basically double that. So that means that these ones are going to run out of minerals when these ones are only at about halfway. So if you're running out of minerals really early on your first base, it's going to make you take a third and subsequently a fourth a lot faster than you might want to. So if they go for something like this and they really understand the economics of this game, and they don't transfer probes out, this usually means they want more steady income so that they can basically two-base all in. It sounds weird, but they want to time out so that they don't lose any mining time between when you're transferring probes, because you do actually lose quite a bit of mining time. So if you don't lose any of those, then yeah, and just as I say that, here's an all-in brewing as 2 Stargates is very two-base all-in-ish. So we'll see what's going to happen after this, but yeah, so kind of finishing my point here, the 2-base all-in is so that you don't lose any mining time when you transfer, so that you can get your buildings and stuff down as soon as humanly possible and make you hit that timing more crisply than you otherwise would. Rhett again going mutas, and these 9 mutas may actually just end the game because these Stargates aren't going to have enough competent stuff out in time to deal with those. As you can see, WhiteRa is only on 4 gateways. Second Stargate is now finishing up. He is putting out Phoenix, so that at least bodes well for him for the time being, but Rhett's going to get so far ahead. As you can see, he's taking his third already. He's almost done. And I say already, it's 10 minutes, but if you pace this by where the Protoss player should be, this seems really early to take that third, since WhiteRa is so far behind. But a lot of mutas are gearing up here, and the Phoenix number is starting to swell, and you need to be ahead in Phoenix number to deal with these mutas. The mutas are just flying right into cannons, though, so one muta actually might die. No, it's almost dead from one cannon. The few Phoenix are going to come over here and try to stop this. So the Phoenix do come in here, but they're going to get wasted by these mutas since they're in such low number. They're actually doing okay, but the mutas can just focus them down really fast. WhiteRa trying to do his best to micro those. He needs to produce more Phoenix, and he needs to get more Stalkers, especially as the Zerglings are now poking away at probes in here in the mineral line. The probes just turn around and fight instead of try to run away. The Phoenix have all died, and the mutas are still in the sky. One more Phoenix does rally up here and should be able to pick off these 2 mutas easily, but he's not quite microing everything like it should be. So yeah, WhiteRa again just getting completely picked apart here, and Rhett just walking in, kicking the door down and saying, hey, your all-in didn't work, your second all-in isn't going to work, your third all-in isn't going to work, and you're just going to die. So Rhett just completely wasting him here, almost double the supplies. We can see Zealots come up here to try to stop these Zerglings from running into the main, but they do anyway. This one gateway isn't even transformed, so it looks like WhiteRa's actually given up. Look how many probes are actually on this. 14 probes harvesting gas right now. That's definitely not an ideal number, but WhiteRa being completely picked apart here by just these few Zerglings, and you can see how devastating it is to not have your second base's worth of mining. You just can't produce anything, and WhiteRa's not. You can see his money is actually building up just a little bit, but it's just so frustrating to deal with stuff like this, especially in a tournament which you really planned for. Dark Shrine is now coming down here, and this is the Desperation Dark Shrine, where he absolutely needs to do just tons upon tons of damage with it to actually do anything, but he's just throwing it down right where Rhett can see it. So Rhett has to know. Spore Crawler's on the way, as we can see, coming up here, and WhiteRa just has to say good game. Rhett also says good game, so a quick 2-0 here out of Rhett. And if he wins one more, he takes this series. So this is a best of 5. Whoever wins 3 games first wins the series. So we'll see if WhiteRa is able to make a series out of it, or if Rhett is just going to continue pummeling him. So I'm sure all you Zerg players are really enjoying this right now, watching Rhett just pull out easy Mutalisk victories and seeing actually pretty good Mutalisk control out of Rhett. You could see dropping was also on the way with Hydras behind it. I know we didn't pay a ton of attention to it, but this game's been over for a little while. So, yeah, we'll go straight into Game 3 after this one. There's not really much to say other than WhiteRa's all-in didn't work, and note to self, or note to whoever else, there's actually a small little thing here that prevents you from dropping a pylon, so you can't wall that off, so don't try it. Yeah, we'll see you in the next game.